Welcome to the channel, or thank you very much for returning if you've been here before. I'm Dan Weiss, creator and owner of MFile Music Theory and Songwriting. We are all about helping you gain control of your creative passion and power so you can become the musician you are supposed to be, making the most impact with your music by creating the music that you hear in your head. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on that little bell notification so you don't miss my super amazing, ultimate, life-changing content when it comes out. Now, let's get to the video.
Boop, it's me again, Mario. I actually watched a really good Netflix documentary series about retro gaming, because I'm a big retro video game nerd, and it was voiced by Charles Martinet, the guy who is the voice of Mario. You know, the "It's me, Mario." He does not sound like that in real life. Shocking, right? He doesn't walk around and it's just like, "Hey, wife, let's date." You know, it's way different. But a little bit, you can hear it and you're like, okay, yeah, he can probably slam that voice. And it leads me to wonder how much other things he's done voices for that we secretly, don't know about. What else haven't you told us, Charles? Anyway, we've talked about scale degrees. Let's talk about our record of this week. This one is pretty vastly different from last week's record of choice. But that's also a part of my vinyl collection. It's all over the place. I love very different types of music. So I believe what we had Revolver, and we had like the Beatles, and we had Chicago Transit Authority. This week we have Ghostface Killa featuring Raekwon Capadonna. Basically, like 75% of Wu-Tang Clan is on this album. Iron Man. This is from 1996. This album is incredible. I like to call this the best. I like to call this the best Wu-Tang album, even though it's a Ghostface album. No disrespect to Ghostface as an artist. This is his second album. And lyrically, with his flow, he commands a lot more. Like, he really comes into his own in this album. And, it's not me being disrespectful and saying it's the best Wu-Tang album. He knocks it out of the park. There's a lot of really good features on here, but it's also kind of, I guess, like a mark of his confidence that he would allow so much Wu-Tang like on the tracks. Like, and they're all over it. They're spitting other verses and they're helping out. RZA produced the whole album and it's great. And he's very confidently leading Wu-Tang in a situation like this, which, you don't really normally see all that much. But this album, I always really liked hip hop in kind of a weird way that I didn't really realize how much I liked it. Like, I was a huge Beastie Boys fan, obviously, because I'm a white dude. But I also, I was like, Tupac was big when I was growing up, and you would hear that, and the songs he sampled were kind of familiar because, he sampled them, and I liked that. And, it was what was popular. Same with Biggie. Like, they both got murdered like the summer I was going into grade 6, I believe. And their albums were huge. So hip hop was very much at the forefront. But I didn't get in on this album until, I think it was 2006. I happened to open a CD case, and this was in it instead of the album I was looking for. And I realized, going all the way back to my prom night in grade 12, was when that switch happened. Because I remember my buddy Grant at the time had this album. So it ended up in my CD case and stayed there for like 4 years until I found it and was like, I'm going to listen to this, and threw it on. And I was just like, whoa. So the production, the music that's happening behind it, there's a lot of really interesting samples and things thrown together. The RZA is a genius. The way that he puts together hip hop tracks, I mean, it's so distinct. There was a lot of people kind of half-assing it to be able to just get some beats. Obviously, I'm not talking about like Tribe Called Quest or, Black Sheep or anything like that. And the Beastie Boys very much did a lot of sampling, but they also played a lot of their own instruments to get samples as well. And it was done in such an artful way that you could kind of barely recognize all of the things that they were sampling. They took a lot of stuff and made something completely new with it, which is so commendable, as opposed to just literally taking a Michael Jackson song and then poorly rapping over it. Like, that's different, So there's a whole different vibe that goes on an album like this. And like the lyricism is gritty and real and raw and just like so powerful. Like I was immediately drawn in. And this is actually the album that inspired me to start writing my own like rhymes and rap lyrics and stuff like that. I was just so taken aback by how powerful this was that I needed to kind of start doing it and start trying. It gave me the confidence to kind of give myself that permission to be like, I am just a Led Zeppelin long-haired white dude in like 2006, but I have a passion for this and I think I want to try and be a part of that world. And lots of trial and error before I let people see it or hear it. But when I started doing it, people were like, okay, how'd you learn to do that? Well, this was a big start. Also, this is one of my favorite rap verses is on this album. Winter Wars. Capadonna takes it home. Everybody else gets like 16 bars. I think he does like 56. He just like keeps going, and the verse is so deadly. Like he probably couldn't even drop the mic all the way to the ground. It just spontaneously combusted into fire and bees. Like it's so powerful. I highly, highly recommend. Also, Poisonous Darts, Assassination Day, Motherless Child is amazing. Black Jesus. Now that I think about it, I was just watching Last Dance. It's very possible that was he was talking about Michael Jordan. But this album is so good, and I got to give it to Ghostface on this one. He really became his own. And all of these guys, there's so much talent in Wu-Tang Clan. Like, it's ridiculous. They're all so smart and their styles are so varied. So to be able to stand up on your own, it's both like amazing and you're like, yeah, that's awesome. But it's also no surprise. Like, they knew what they were doing in forming a super group and just putting out albums of their own. And everybody's happy to help out. Check this album out, especially from a lyrical standpoint. It will blow you away. And if you're not into hip hop, like, I'm sorry, but you should be at least a little bit. Like, you gotta check this stuff out. So if you don't know, now you know. And if you don't like it, find out something that you can learn from it at the very least. So Ghostface Killa, featuring Raekwon, Capadonna. I think Method Man is also on here. There's, like I said, it's like 75% of Wu-Tang's on here. Iron Man. Check it out. That is the album of the week.
If you want to learn more about any of the topics discussed on today's episode, or if you'd like to expand your horizons so you can make the most amount of impact with your music, please be sure to check us out at mfile.ca.